This is episode 62, if we are counting correctly. Can't swear that we do all the time. This time,
Man,
chilling.
every time you start with the 60, I think I'm going to hear a 9.
We're gonna get there, James.
Yep.
We need something special. We need We need to give away a Slanesh model or something for that episode.
What about handies?
Ooh, we could just give handies. Good idea.
I mean, Chris is over there, like, using lotion, rubbing up his hands.
BJ Ron, I am a Space War player. Oh, man, we got like 3 BJ Rons at Battlegrounds right now, in case anybody needs any.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. I just found in the back 3 equally painted by the same person, fucking Space War BJ Rons, Bjorns. So that was interesting. But it's been a great week. I hope, everybody out there has had a good time and played many games. I have been playing many games, my friends. I have many things recorded. If you guys go, just another known secret, I hope that you know, if you go watch on Twitch, you can watch all the backlog videos before we post them to YouTube. However, you are seeing kind of behind the curtain, because things that can go wrong live, I usually try to fix and edit out, and I post in a different order to YouTube. And so that's where our curated content is. And Twitch, you can watch it immediately. You just watch it right after we stream it live. So that's pretty fun. And currently about to be posted is when me and Chris fought with the Tyranids versus the Demons. And I think we talked a little bit about it last week, Chris. We had great 2 matches. Yeah, last week we went right from our doubleheader into the talk show.
Yeah, man. It was fun.
That was a badass day of game and a long day. A long day of filming and good times. Since we've talked last, we've had the Age of Sigmar General's Handbook 2019 come out. Very excited about that. It's basically the chapter approved, kind of like for 40K, and an FAQ soon to follow. And Zinch got a nice point reduction on Pink Horrors, on the Flamers particularly, and that was quite exciting. Some of the new things that you guys would find interesting as a precedent from the new General's Handbook is I really have enjoyed following the language of Games Workshop. Since when I started from 7th to now, the whole community page and the outsourcing information, the Facebook, kind of following that journey that we've had with Games Workshop on their makeover, the language that's in the 2019 book is really cool, because they have a lot of language about game stores and how like real life works when you meet people. So they actually have a whole tournament or a whole packet of missions in there that are called engagement missions, and it's all about when you engage with an opponent at the game store. They talk about like if you were to go to your buddy's house, and just how like when you place terrain, the big conversation was how terrain is placed, and to make it fair for both sides. And they had like a few different methods of how you can divide terrain in a fun way. And some of it was like if you go to your buddy's house, so that you can give him, he can go ahead and set up the terrain before you get there. When the opponent arrives, they choose what the deployment zone is and where they're deployed. That sounds fair. They talk about splitting the board in half and equaling out the terrain both ways, and then dividing it that way. But all the terrain has to be 6 inches from each other, 3 inches from objectives, and 6 inches from the edge. So if you have an overflow of terrain, you can run out. And of course, most armies, and soon to be all armies apparently, will have their own terrain features, and you can start to run out of room to place those terrain features within those same rules, and can end up not even getting to place them at all. So that's kind of a new thing. Pretty cool. The missions in chapter General's Handbook are fantastic. They totally remixed and updated the missions to be, they're by far the coolest. And what's interesting for you gents is that usually, ITC, Nova missions, Adepticon, they're all redoing the rules for a competitive play situation. When I think of 40K, I think of those missions, the ITC and the Nova and all that. Never would I play the rulebook mission. I know, James, you've frequented several tournaments locally that go off the rulebook missions, but it's uncommon for me.
Yeah, it's only one store,
Yeah.
and it's one of the smaller stores, and it's very rare to see the competitive crowd like creep into their store.
Totally, not to my taste. Well, we just posted a Age of Sigmar tournament. All the tournaments that we're doing at Battlegrounds right now are going to be following the Nova Open format, and I think it's another great example of the missions, for whatever reason, in competitive play for years, use the General Handbook missions. They use the core rulebook missions. And what's interesting about the Age of Sigmar missions is that they are so much a part of the game, with the whole double turn thing, and Just the way that you score objectives within 6 inches, and then you can leave the objective and have nobody around it. And once you've scored it, it remains yours until someone else comes and grabs it. These interesting, how you can fall back and you can run when you fall back in Sigmar and go get to an objective. Those summoning mechanics, all the weird nuances of Sigmar's a lot of teleportation. It's integrated well with the way that the core missions work, and they're some of the wildest, wonkiest missions you've seen. I guarantee that. So I think that's really cool, and I really enjoyed playing them. So that was neat, and we have a couple bat reps. We just posted one where I went against the Iron Jaws with my Archeon Corn list, and then I just filmed today Archeon and my Zinch list. That I posted the first bat rep, or no, I haven't. I'm kind of. My buddy got salty, man, because I straight wrecked him in like 2 turns with this Archeon Zinch list I've made is to kill heroes. Slanesh is nasty with their heroes. There's a lot of hero hammer in Sigmar. A lot of people's armies are based around the zombie dragon meta. And I just want to tell you for a second about this Archeon Zinch list. I actually have an image here I'll put up while I talk about it for one moment. So it looks a little something like this. So now what you're seeing here is the old picture. What I've gotten with my reduction in points is the exact same list, but I've gotten to add in a 4th unit of pink horrors. In Sigmar,
that's the list. That's it.
That's the list, dude. But but it wrecks. So check it. So the pink horrors in Sigmar, of course, reinforcement points there are not a thing. Summoning is free. So each one of those 10 units of pink horrors, they cost 180 points. They produce 40 additional bodies with the double blue and the brimstones to match. So there's, for 40 units, that's 200 bodies that exist within my army. And then Fate Weaver is amazing, and particularly with the Archeon combo. So the Gaunt Summoner, he's the general and takes all these things to manipulate the Destiny dice. It's all about the Destiny dice. It's Zinch's special mechanic, and it's about using it for Archeon. Archeon has a weapon that is a Kingslayer sword, and if you dedicate his 4 attacks from that Kingslayer sword into a hero, if you roll double 6s to wound, it's just obliterated. Well, when you start at the beginning of the game, you roll 9 dice, and those are your Destiny dice, and those dice can be used to replace any dice rolls throughout the game. So if you roll 2 6s out of 9 dice to start the game, those are instant killing any character you run in combat with. It can be.
That's so gross.
They get no save, no
you just
saves,
bank those numbers.
Nothing,
That's
right?
So gross.
And so the whole list is built around those Destiny dice. So Fate Weaver, unlike the Lord of Change, he gets to at once per game, any dice roll I want, I can change to any result I want. So if I only roll 1 6 in my Destiny pool, I can always have that double 6. If I roll 3 6s, I always got another 6. Also, man, in both the games I've played, I've had 4 6s in my pool. So I've been double 6 charging, doing just fucking 12-inch charges. So there's also, I have some cogs in there, an endless spell that lets me cast an additional spell and reroll all my saves for Fate Weaver. So a 3-up save in this game is nasty. The Archeon, you got your double 6 kill. You can give him a Shield of Fate power. So Fate Weaver, when he casts, you roll 2 die, you do your cast, and you always make your lowest match your highest. So 1, I can just like take a 6 or a 5 out of my Destiny pool, and instantly that's going to be a 10+ roll on my caster deny. And I can give my bro here like a 3-up rerollable save basically. And it's any save, so even if I'm -1, I still reroll 1s, 2s, and 3s. So he's just a beast. He's flying up and just killing any characters. But what's nasty in the new tech I learned from this new list. So 1, I fought a zombie dragon in Nagash and basically just murked the zombie dragon. Was en route to kill Nagash. Game was over in like 2 turns. You bring Hero Hammer versus that list, I wreck you. But the new sauce is this endless spell, this purple fucking, you've seen it pictures of it before, the blowfish spell. I didn't know this, but when this flies over or lands next to guys, I thought it did just mortal wounds, but you roll a dice for each unit, and if you roll a 6, a model in that unit is just gone, slain. So if you roll a 6 next to a character, it's just slain. Now I can't use Destiny dice on this because it's only specific activities, but Fate Weaver can choose any dice. So not only do you have the Destiny dice, but you also have this endless spell that you can drop next to any hero, any 400 point whatever hero, and smack it dead with a single instant death. Can't stop you. That's ridiculous. So that's nuts. And then my abilities are on a 5+. I get all my Destiny dice back. or I get Destiny dice back that I
Please.
spend. What's that?
I was just talking to people in the comments.
Yeah. I can't even see the comments. I'm so hyped.
Dude, I don't know what to say about that. That can create some field badsies for
Oh,
sure.
it is fucking dope, dude. So 5 up, I get Destiny dice back. At the start of each of my turns on a 1 or a 6, I replace a Destiny dice because remember that my pink horrors, they all they can add D6 on a 1 on a morale. So I just can spend an auto 1 on those guys and get D6 back on them everywhere.
Oh, that's gross.
It's disgusting. So I have been having a great time, but I had a super close game because while that's nasty, everything in Signar is pretty nasty. I went against a skeleton, a Grand Host of Nagash that had 200 skeletons. I mean, it was 120, I believe. But they come back endlessly. They heal endlessly. They come back endlessly. We basically both brought on over 1,000 points of models.
Wow.
And it came down to the very last turn. And he double turned me into, I believe, 3. And I double turned him into 5 and took the game. It was amazing. But that game was nuts. And the instant killing factors didn't even matter, really. It was just about maneuvering and getting our hordes into the right places and screening and blocking.
Charlie in the comments is saying your army is whack.
Yeah. When it all costs.
It's very whack, but it's also very nicely painted. Like, that is a nice looking army. Like, regardless how you look at it, it looks like a low model count. You have enough blues and brims to split it all out.
Yep.
Like, that is a good looking army.
Man, it's sick.
No, you're not wrong.
So you can't. So someone can't really call you like super whack, but you.
Sure. No, it's nutty though, man. I really enjoy it though, and you know, I honestly it got created because of the people I've been practicing against. I've been going against all these zombie dragons, and dude, I got like PTSD because, like I told you, they when they roll 6s to wound, you take 6 mortal wounds on top of damage. Like, they just wreck things, and they fight at the start of combat before anything else gets to choose, and they immediately fight again, and like you just can't fight.
Gross.
It's like
what?
There's so much disgusting stuff in this game, man. But I was
double swinging.
Yeah, no, before you could do shit. But now with Destiny dice, I can make sure that I actually I'll just bank all my Destiny dice into making those saves, so there's no way that they kill me with the big heavy damage weapons because they're usually still just like -2. So you got like a 5 up way to get out of it. So I just save my 5s and shit to make sure I auto pass that stuff and then murk that fucker.
That's gross.
Yeah, I really enjoy it, man.
So, do you get the roll first before you use the Destiny dice?
No, you have to choose to put it up in front. You get to do it with the Fate Weaver roll. You can roll the dice and then change it to whatever you want. But that's for those special, because now I don't even have to engage with the combat now. With that purple spell, that fucking blowfish, I can just fly it right next to one of their dudes and just, you're instant dead. And if he has 2 zombie dragons near each other, I get to roll for 1, and the other one I instant kill with Fate Weaver.
That's
gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's so cool. So I'm having a great time with that.
Yeah, because you're cheating. Feels good when you're cheating.
You know, one thing though today, it was a moment of considering cheating, and maybe our friends at home can give us some advice. If there's any Sigmar players out there, I looked high and low, and I think it's a place of debate. But on summoning in Sigmar, totally different than 40k. But in 40k, you can't summon from a unit that you summon, right? Mm-hmm. In Sigmar, we can't assume it's the same way because everything's different in that game. You move and then you summon and all this shit. But it doesn't.
Oh shit! George is cheating.
It doesn't say that you can't summon a hero and then summon from the hero. The only thing that it's interpretive on is do all of them come out at the same time? When you say you summon 5 guys, do you summon them all at once, or do you put them down each one at a time, making your decisions as you summon them? Because that's actually a whole thing. If you're like, all right, I don't know if I can fit all these guys, but I'm going to say 4 units of 10. Like, what if you want to put down 3 and see how it looks? Can you do that? And it doesn't specify. I couldn't find a conversation on Reddit. Check the FAQs.
What does the entry for summoning say?
Hey.
I could tell you. I tell you, it doesn't. It says the main thing that makes it questionable is the up or down. Here it is right here. If you have, the fate points to do it, you can summon 1 or more units from the list below onto the battlefield and add them to your army. Each unit you summon costs a number of fate points as shown on the list, and you can only summon a unit if you have enough fate points to pay its costs. And then it says summon units must be set up wholly within 12 of friendlies each hero and more than 9 from enemy units. Subtract the cost of the summoned unit from the number of the fate points you have immediately after the summoned unit has been set up.
Okay, so by hearing that, my interpretation is you definitely pick them all at one time.
It feels
One
that
or
way,
more.
one or more. But
Yeah.
but then it also kind of singular when it says that you know each time you set one up, that's when you immediately subtract. So like when you set them up, but it doesn't say. It's like summon units. Many units subtract the cost of the summoned unit from the number of fate points you have immediately after the summoned unit has been set up. And that's like, okay, I put one down, I subtract the points. Because there's a lot of math.
I know, but I heard an amazing analogy.
Okay.
When it comes to rules,
Yeah.
kind of like farting. If you push too hard, it just might be shit.
That fair. Like I always and like I already told my buddy that I played it with today. Like we couldn't find it. We played it that way. I'm gonna talk about it up front on the interwebs and whatnot, and see what everybody else says. But I also argue that I can agree with the rules as intended. I always lean towards the opponent, but it is not completely clear.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel that it gives you that impression that it's all at one time. But I can see a whack player being like, nah, man, it doesn't say I can't do them all at one, like one by one. And when you start getting to that, like, it doesn't say I can't, is like the way you start your argument.
I hate that. No, you're totally right. And a great way to put that, actually. Anytime we should make that on a shirt, James. Something that's like when you start when you it doesn't say what's the phrase you just nailed it.
When you gotta ask
when you start your argument by saying it doesn't say you can't.
Yes. It doesn't say you can't. Because that's exactly how the Tau rule was with it. It was so stupid. I got upset when people play the Tau Overwatch rule where you could do one Overwatch, then say you're supporting with the other guy, and then you're supporting with the other guy, and they FAQ'd it.
Dude, we got into that whole thing every time. Like when there's a broken rule, GW fixes it because like it doesn't say you can't, but then they make sure they say they can't. Like with heroic intervention.
Yeah.
But like it's my turn. And I didn't charge you, but I'm 3 from you, so now I'm going to heroically intervene into you. So now you can't Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that bullshit, I was like, oh my god. You guys are stretching this real too far. And then, like...
the Hellbrute thing.
The Hellbrute thing. Well, that one's a mismatch because they're, like...
People
like,
were playing it broken. It was even at Adepticon.
I can defend it with Thousand Suns because their keyword, they had it bold. As like the keyword instead of,
and there was a precedent with boldness being referring to a specific kind of word.
Like they messed it up in that one book, where the another book they got it right. So like that one's a little mixy because like we weren't used to this keyword thing early on,
right?
But now like it's definitely a Hellbrute unit.
I mean, it was a misprint. It kind of felt a little bit like a misprint, but at the same time, it's hard to argue that that's not the way they intended it either. So like.
Oh, dude.
It was one of those situations where it was like, yeah, I can definitely see why people are doing this.
Dude, they came out with Chaos Codex 2.0 and didn't have the right obliterator rules in it right away, and changed the FAQ to one of the stratagems, so like the stratagem matched the FAQ, but another stratagem didn't match the FAQ. Like, it's GW. Yeah. They're like they literally skip over things. They don't realize what they're skipping over because they're not actually playing the game under all these different circumstances where they pop up but when there's thousands of people playing and how popular these games are getting every weekend, people are holding tournaments.
Totally.
Like it gets a little crazy. Like a big one that kept popping around lately that I've been hearing is smoke launchers. So it says if you didn't shoot in the shooting phase, you can launch your smoke launchers.
Right.
It doesn't say what shooting phase.
Okay.
So people are saying, well, I didn't shoot it in the shooting phase, so I'm launching my smoke launcher now.
That's dumb.
Oh, I know it's dumb, but it doesn't say you can't.
Yeah. Put it on a shirt, dude. We need that.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't say you can't.
Take fun seriously. Fuck, it doesn't say you can't. Because honestly, you're trying. That's that social contract of like defending both players having a fair and honest time. That's going to create a situation of arguments, and like it's always stupid.
Yeah, that's why I really love that analogy when I read it. It's like debating rules is like farting. If you're pushing too hard, it's just shit.
Yeah, I can dig on that. And that's like, speaking of which, man, we just posted the bat rep of Space Wolves versus Necrons, and man, loving the woofing. People keep asking me lately about like how to build a Space Wolf list just because around the store and whatnot, and I got a big Space Wolf display, but I'm like, dude, you're asking me? Like, one
George
dude.
had a goal to be the #1 in ITC and abandoned that shit quick.
No, well, honestly, like I have a resurgence of belief in them.
Dude, you abandoned it quick, and you're playing Age of Sigmar. That's why we started today's talk with Age of Sigmar, because you're stuck on that seat.
Dude, I jump both ways, man. Like I said, I've been, honestly, like, and I've told this to Chris too. Like, playing Sigmar got me more in love with 40K again. Like, I've loved playing 40K, and I jump between the two games like every day.
Yeah, I really enjoy 40K. I wish I could play more.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, I've been having a great time with 40K, and that's getting these woofing has been a big part of it. But that's man, and what I know I really need right now is like I hate meta chasing, and I hate like the fucking flyer spam right now, and I just want to smack them down. I want to kill knights and I want to kill flyers right now, and I know I need some like jetpack fucking.
Dude, speaking
characters.
of flyers, the aircraft. When that was pointed out to me that aircraft can move away from combat, it doesn't count as falling back. I thought that was crazy.
But if you have the fly keyword, not the case though, right? Like if
no, dude, it says like when flying, like you don't fall back, you just fly.
Oh, so that means that epitome doesn't stop them.
No, nothing stops them. Epitome, fucking Starbrand with like the Fury combo.
I thought we were good, man.
Oh, dude. No, read it again. Do you have the screenshot? Pop it up.
I can find
it says when it moves, it doesn't count as falling back.
All right, fuck with it.
And all those rules that stop it and lock it up in combat says about it falling back.
And then what was nutty too is what happened in that. What I was mentioning about that Space Wolf combat or video was that I went against a Necron flyer and I came into the contention of being able to heroically intervene or pile into a plane because we knew you couldn't end a move within 1 inch, but it turns out it does say any move you can't end within 1 inch of a enemy flyer.
Yeah, dude. Like I understand when these rules were laid out, like people were like, "Oh, they fixed it. They fixed it. Like you can't like screen with them." But no, they made flyers so much better because now they're not interacting in the fight phase. Like, yeah, if you have the fly keyword, you can jump up and smash it. You can't hold it there. It just flies away. So I think the only tech right now that you can just destroy a flyer is when you bracket it, and then you use that one psychic power that Thousand Suns have that have the movement distance, because then you can get it to go under its minimum movement.
Oh, good call. That's interesting. Bolt of Zeech or whatever.
Yeah.
Moonbolt.
Yeah. Yeah. But you have to bracket it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, because it has to be bracketed to the point where it's minimum movement or maximum movement, and then that halved, like, is less than its minimum.
That's a nice one. So I got it pulled up here. So,
it's a hard one to pull off though, man. Like to bracket something, then get I think it's a 9 or an 8. You need to cast that power. Like that is super hard.
Yeah, you got Armon or something, you can get it done. But
all right, last parentheses or
if IE does not have fallback in order to move. Okay, if when a unit is selected move in the movement phase, the only enemy units that are within 1 inch of it are aircraft. But that's what it says. If it's aircraft, then it can still
aircraft.
Yeah, it's saying plane on plane.
Okay.
That's what I had read it as.
Okay, I must have missed the aircraft part.
If when a unit is selected move in the movement phase, the only enemy units that are within 1 inch of it are aircraft, then it can still make a move. It does not have to fall back in order to move. Yeah, it's only aircraft on aircraft.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So Epitome's
still good. Still good.
All right, so there's a couple ways to do it, but aircrafts can't do it. But aircrafts can't charge in the first place. So how are they getting within an inch?
I think that they can get around the landing within an inch of each other, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know either. Is there any flyer that's an aircraft that's a character? Like, because then I guess it could have heroically intervened. And
let's see.
I don't know, bro.
Let's see. If a unit can fly and has a minimum move characteristic, include any minimum move, that unit gains aircraft. When a model makes any kind of move, it can be moved within 1 inch of an enemy aircraft, and it can be moved across such barriers. But it cannot end the move on top of another model or its base. It cannot end the move within 1 inch of enemy models. I don't know how that instance would ever happen.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they put it in parentheses. That's where my mind was like, oh, so it doesn't fall back, it just moves, because like that instance doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I don't really see an aircraft on aircraft moment in the game right now. But yeah, that's how it reads though. It doesn't say that it just gets to fall back, not take moves. You know, it has to fall back.
Okay.
Is it not worded such that you can end your move within an inch of an enemy aircraft?
No, it didn't say that you. It says you can never move within an inch of it.
Well, I meant if you had the aircraft rule, because like the same passage that was talking about the falling back, did it specifically stop you?
If one unit is selected to move, the only enemy units that are within 1 inch are aircraft, then it can still make a move. But then above that, it's like, and it cannot end a move within 1 inch of enemy models. I don't see how you can ever end up with an inch of an aircraft.
That's what I'm saying.
And
I reckon not.
I think we ought to not overthink it too much either, because these fools mess up all the time.
Yeah, dude. But like this weekend, I was trying to introduce someone else into this game because they are a gamer.
Right.
They enjoy games, and they're not the type of person to shy away from a tabletop game. Like they're the type of person that enjoys Axis of Allies, and like they're like, I heard it's really expensive. I was like, you got a good job. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But
just
like
jump down the rabbit hole. Just do it.
So like the money aspect isn't necessarily the biggest hurdle. He's got me to help him get his model tabletop ready.
Right.
So the biggest hurdle is rules. And it's like with video games or anything else, you can literally just like go through the tutorial. You don't even have to read things. You could skip through and shit's intuitive. With this, man, you get into these big loopholes when you're trying to play competitively. Yeah. Like, can this really do this? Can that really do that? Like, you didn't even think about that psychic power that can half movement. Like, imagine someone pulling that up on you. Like what?
Oh, damn.
And then you're spending all this time going to be looking through rules. Like, is this real?
Yeah.
Like, man, GW, get it together, man. Please, for the sake of your own company, get it together.
I mean, we gotta give them props still, but yeah, I feel it.
Dude, in this day and age, man, there are stupid people. The stupid people are the ones who breed more and more. Like, money's easy to make nowadays. You can make it from home. So it's like, dude, if you want this thing to blow up, you got to make it so stupid people can understand this. And I think 8th edition is great for that early on. But, man, they got to get the rules right.
Certainly.
Oh, good point. He's talking about hover. Bobby Halls was calling out hover mode. Sometimes things can go in hover and then they can charge.
Oh, yeah, I don't even think about that. I have Helldrakes. That's all I have. So it's like, they're not real flyers.
Yeah, hover can bring that out for sure. That makes sense.
Good job, Bobby.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. And Big Cleat says I might be becoming that one guy because of my Zinch list.
You are that one guy.
I'm telling you.
You've always been that one guy, George.
Nuh-uh.
It's
all about who you play, guys. And like, you know, that's like I said, I have some PTSD. Like I got some friends, and a lot of guys are getting flesh eater courts and getting nasty zombie dragon dudes. And like, I have got my butt kicked enough times that I am happy to have in my arsenal list. They're like, oh yeah, well, I'll bring this out then. We'll see what happens. Oh, Clem's saying what's up. Oh, cutest dog ever. Yeah, so, I got some pictures of some sweet terrain that Battlegrounds got. We were talking about it on last week's episode, but now I got some pics.
Cool.
So I set up these tables. I was pretty proud of these beautiful tables. It was cool. People came in for the Tuesday, Wednesday night gaming, and they're like, is something going on? Because, like, tables are really good. It's like, nah, man, just making it look beautiful. Here's this is all Game Out of You. Battlegrounds hooked us up with some more terrain. This is a mix of Warp Charge and Battlegrounds terrain set. We got this sweet Battlegrounds. I was trying to remember the name of this terrain set, but yeah, it's awesome. Here's
the Highlands.
Yeah, the Highlands. Yeah, and this is Gothic Ruins here. This is like an industrial set. Love this mat right here. This mat's so beautiful. We've been doing our Age of Sigmar streams on that table the last couple games. These Gothic ruins are super cool. I really like the Acropolis set too. I'll just show you in a second. Here's this cool desert outpost with the Badlands set. Looks super nice. Man, the tables look great. I can't just in time for Battle in the Warp coming up. More Gothic ruins on this lava mat. All game.
Now, some of those tables have a decent amount more terrain than others.
Yeah, but because they're really kind of just featuring the mats to the sets, there definitely won't be the same kind of tables that we'll have. These are generally Nova layouts here.
So you wouldn't call those tournament ready?
Nah. Like, for instance, I'll throw it back up. Here's the desert one is just like scattered and made to look pretty. I mean, you got two line of sight blockers in the middle, and that one generally works, but it's also kind of like you don't have defined like forest areas in the middle sides of the board. It's
not like it's like
it's
unfinished cardboard or like the boxes to like model kits or something.
Yeah, no doubt. They're definitely playable.
Well, yeah. So the thing is, I had a conversation today that I tagged in about a tournament organizer that is prepping for a tournament because this past weekend, I mean, well, what was it 3 weekends ago or 2 weekends ago? There was like Tournament Gate where it was just foam blocks. Forgot what GT it was, but literally people were paying $50, and it wasn't even painted foam, wasn't battle mats, it was felt, and some people were very upset. I guess the community back behind this person gave them lots of props because their terrain guy bailed on them, and he still made it work, and people still had fun. But a lot of people were upset they spent that kind of money. And then last weekend, there was another GT that only hit the 28 people, the minimum GT requirements, but it was $50, 2-day event. And they also only had foam. Granted, this foam was painted and then it was on battle mats, but it was still foam for a GT that was $50. And then there was another tournament down south that they used GW boxes.
Yeah.
Empty GW boxes.
Apparently that was like just round one, but still, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So either way, some tournaments are having these like terrain situations. So the conversation that I was tagged in was basically what ideally like tournaments like table would you expect? And my big thought is there needs to be large line of sight blocking that's impassable. Because some people hide behind these things with tanks and stuff. And like if you screen yourself out properly, you don't want to be getting like charged through a line. So like there needs to be terrain on the table where you can set yourself up to have big line of sight blocking where you can hide something big and prepare for a charge.
I like that you said impassable as well, because it gets a little silly where people park a bunch of flying hover units on top of like
absolutely,
especially with the new wobbly model clarification where you can't get up there and fight them at all.
Exactly. So I think there needs to be at least like 2 big line of sight blocking impassable pieces of terrain. I also like when there's 2 different sets of ruins or 4 different sets of ruins, and on top of that, when I mention ruins, I mean something that gives you a 4-up armor save that has more than 1 level. The bottom level ideally is modeled with line of sight blocking, so that you can do true line of sight and you don't have to do the ITC things, because some people play it, some people don't play it. It's best if your terrain is modeled to actually block the first line of sight so that you don't even get into that discrepancy. But also has a second floor that you can put other things onto, so people that do have infantry can take advantage of that. People that do have fly can take advantage of that. It's nice to have these different pieces of terrain that can suit different armies and different units. I also really think there should be either 2 pieces of forest or craters.
Yeah.
The reason why I like forest or craters, it's great for infantry to hide in, get it cover.
Minus
also,
-2
-2 to charge.
Yeah.
That's really a big deal when you're a high level player. You're thinking about your screen game, and then you want your weak point in your screen to be that -2 to charge. So when they're coming in with a 9-inch charge, you're now making it 11. That's a big deal. Like, especially when there's bloodletters, an 8-inch charge with 3d6. I'd rather make that a 10-inch charge with 3d6. They might actually fail that. So I think that's really important. And then from that basically covers most of the table. And if you don't have all those pieces to fit on every single table, at least have 25% of the table covered with terrain. And what I mean by that is if you piled up all that terrain into a corner, it covers 25%, just a corner of that board. and then you could spread it out how you want. You know you're going to have.
Well, it gets a little crazy though when it's like if that terrain's just like fairly flat or one level. Like you can't just can't be walls and shit. Like you got to be able to hide some stuff behind it.
I completely agree. That's what I was saying. 2 giant pieces of line of sight blocking impassable, and at least 4 different ruins. Because then when I mention ruins, I want like 2 levels to those ruins. I think it's the best way to utilize that ruin rule set. Now I know not every tournament can have that type of terrain for every table. So you got to do what you work with, especially if a tournament is 100% payout, like Battle in the Warp Major. It's 100% payout. The terrain's got to come from somewhere. Like someone's got to pay for it. Someone's got to make it. Someone's got to paint it. It's got to go from somewhere. And if you don't have a store backing you and you're just doing it at some venue, then it's all on you. So a lot of places charge like an entry on top of the tournament fee to help cover the venue costs and terrain.
Yeah.
And
James, you just made me think though. You gotta give a shout out to Coastal Wargaming because that's who we're working with Battle in the Warp. We're doing a combined tournament.
They're helping out a measurable amount.
Right, and that cat Dan, he is one of those folks that he like provides all that stuff, and like has done a ton of work. It says for some of his friends I've seen on his group there, guys like you should wear a cape, dude, because like guys like a hero making shit happen for his community. And so you got to respect those that really work hard to put on some great events.
All right, so the world needs to thank this man because Nova sold out so quick. This dude's helping out so that another 80 spots open up for Nova.
Yep.
Like that's huge, bro. Like we only have
crazy
60-something slots for the major that's in July, and he's helping to add 80 to Nova.
Yeah,
like
it's gonna be sick.
40 tables.
And like, dude, like I'm talking, they're providing a couple TOs for me. It's awesome to have that kind of help. And dude, I tried to like throw some his way, like okay, like yo, let me see if I can help you out a little bit. And he's like, man, I just want to throw a major. And I couldn't believe it. So big shout out to Coastal Wargaming, the Norfolk, Virginia Beach Wargamers, because they're all some star guys out there. So looking forward to gaming with them too. Over our first tournament league here, we've had a lot of them cruise through, and that's how a deeper relationship was made. So it's going to be awesome. You make me want to throw up a flyer real quick. Here we just posted. It's a monumental moment for Battlegrounds and Warp Charge Gaming. Not to mention Coastal Wargaming throwing our first major coming up in July. But you can see we just posted 18 tournaments for the next year. So next 6 months. So I've locked myself into 18 weekends to rock and roll. Cannot wait for the July one. I got James coming down from Chicagoland, and we got our buddy Tumby coming all the way from New Zealand, a fan that we met online, which is wild. It'll be a second time through. And you guys can watch him in some bat reps from way back when he won a kill team tournament here. I'm really excited because I'm basically all my playing in 40K right now is to transfer a honed list over to Tumby because he's basically going to play whatever I make.
That's awesome.
Yeah. James just kicked out. This is a work in progress. We're about to sauce it up. We got some misspelled prize in there right now, but we're getting ready.
Congrats for him, bro. Hey, it's spelled right in another spot. That's all that matters. As long as it's spelled right in another spot.
Over $3,000 in pre-sale support.
Yeah, but man, it's gonna look like a dope-ass flyer though. That's one of the many large inventory walls of Battlegrounds. They got a huge amount of inventory there, and actually dwarf a lot of their Games Workshop in town. They are probably quadruple, if not more, the store. So super pumped. People can order and get their gear sent to them. Whatever. It's gonna be amazing. We just finalized all the prize support, and I'm really excited to share all that. We'll be doing that soon.
Yeah, which is 100% payout. Again, really difficult to do.
Yeah.
So super cool.
Yeah. And dude, what blows my mind, like when people bring a whack amount of terrain as the organizers, right? If that happens, then I guess like they need to like put some money in pocket in order to do the next event. But there's a lot of trust involved with that. And you basically, I think there's there needs to be the integrity of people knowing that your terrain is not on par. It is totally okay to charge $65 and let people know, like, take a picture of your table that's going to be 30 tables duplicated. It's fucking brown with white foam. And if people are like, cool, I'll go support you, and you should, it's almost like you need to be transparent with like X, Y, this is how much his venue costs, this is how much his prize support, this is how much is going to go into us getting mats and terrain. There's a lot of trust
actually,
there. You know?
Dude, people don't realize how much effort and like organization it takes to like move money around to create these events, especially with like custom objective markers and things. Like, I believe we had someone in our chat say, dude, is there a way to like give everyone their like money back and have prizes? It's like, dude, magical money doesn't come out of nowhere.
Oh, dude, check this out. I thought of a nice classy touch for the tournament. So because we have everyone pre-registered, I'm going to be able to pair everyone the night before. And, and then the day when we set up all the tables, I'm going to put down, we're going to have lanyards, and I'm going to have like little like standing acrylic holders that show people's reserve, and I'm going to print everyone's name all tight and the pairing. So every person's table will be already paired and their tables out with their objective markers and lanyards sitting at each table. So like a classy experience, you know right where to go with your reserve table. You can put your shit right down right away at the right spot. It's going to be sexy.
I love that idea. I really do. But what if someone doesn't show?
Then Best Coast has the capability of swapping around the people that are playing one another.
Oh, so Best Coast is just like the greatest thing that's ever come to wargaming?
Oh, we would not be throwing all the amazing tournaments we do if it wasn't for Best Coast Pairing, which have been giving us a ton of shout outs. Their LVO's coming up again. You gotta, love
massive it. Shout outs.
Yeah.
Someone commented on you're uploading the LVO list one.
Yeah.
And they mentioned how you move extremely fast. I don't think they realized that the video was sped up to like probably times 10.
No.
While your like audio was normal.
Oh, yeah, like the visuals. Yeah.
They thought you were like super speed typer, dude.
Oh, right. Like, how do you type so fast? It's editing. Because it would be boring as fuck if you watch me, try to actually go through those motions.
Dude, it's that watch time. You got to go with the new YouTube algorithms, man. It's not about the views anymore. It's about that watch time.
Oh, we got lots of that. I wish people subscribed as much as they watch, man.
Dude, I think, what is it, 90% of our viewership is from unsubscribers?
Yeah, we have over 2 million minutes watched. It's like, I remember I just calculated the other day, and there has been over 5 years of consumption time worth of people watching if you were to watch 24/7. And yeah, apparently that's just a very small amount of people that like to watch every detail, or they just leave their TV on or something or not, because we're not getting a ton of subs. I'm just saying, somebody mentioned on a comment recently on one of our videos, and funny enough, we talked a little bit about this week in our 40K chat, just about comments and commenters and replying back with things. And I was saying that out of all the conversations that I comment back to, about half the time I actually am learning something, and the other half I'd be teaching something, or it's just like a general high five. But sometimes it gets like a little eye rolly, right? But somebody said they love the videos, right? They were questioning some rules. I replied back and forth, and like, well, I thought I was kind of being attacked, even though I wasn't, and they were just like wanting me to know the rules right. At the end they're like, yo, I really love your videos, and I'm like, dang. So I thought I have all the time is the quality of them and like the length of time that they run. And we do a lot of hybrids and experimentations with editing. I just set up a new infinity or a method of like recording from 2 different angles instead of just top down, it's like angled views from the left and right side. So 3-hour videos all live. Like, we have a unique format, the dice tray and the watching an entire bat rep, and we try to create a finished piece of watchable entertainment within a 2.5 to 3 hour period, and do it all on a live fly with multiple cameras. It's unique, but it doesn't gain the same amount of subs as these other major channels.
Yeah, but George, you also have to remind people that we don't have a film crew. We don't have any crew there. It's just you playing the game.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that, because I have to give a shout out to Longword dudes, Kenny and Rob. They're gonna go to ATC, and they like teamed up with the stream team. and they are going to be streaming 5 tables at once because it's 5-man teams.
Oh wow!
And going to be commentating and doing like color commentating and flipping back and forth like red zone style. And they previewed their like Twitch like bring-ins of score and deployment zones to like cover it all like ESPN style. And it's quite impressive. Like when you get a team behind you, which you could do, and it always reminds me how well you have captured a hobo version of that,
right?
With having no crew.
I have respect to that because that is where the unique design comes from. Is that it's meant to be as automated as possible to do while you play the game and still enjoy yourself. And there's been a level of growth in understanding how to create. By narration and trying to eliminate dude and this guy and stuff and actually name your models and things like that. That's made better and better content and explaining what you're doing in the right ways quickly and efficiently. Like nowadays, the big improvement I think we've made to our bat reps is we deploy everything first and then we turn on the camera. Break down the armies with them on the field. It takes a lot, really cuts the video time down, which I think is solid.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, fun stuff.
I mean, that's something you and I kind of discussed, George, even the last time I was there shooting with you, is like, it would be awesome to get like another camera to be able to capture almost more like the 3D layer while you're doing the overhead simultaneously.
Yeah, I would like to. I would like
that
to.
That becomes more dynamic.
It's even not that hard though to actually point that. Like I'd like to show us more. I'm like it's a lot of times it's straight the game, and I think a lot of times when I see bat reps like mini wargaming or even like some classy ESPN style ones where they show the players a little bit more, there's a certain like human connection there that's kicks off some serotonins or whatever. So I like the idea of putting the camera up a little sometimes and watching the player like roll. It's even kind of fun just to see the behind the scenes and see the player like roll the dice into the green screen cam and then it actually like appear on the side of the board.
Yeah.
It's like that weird.
Have the cameras link up, give you more like almost the echolocation version of the room.
Yeah, exactly. That stuff's cool. Yeah, so I haven't been able to see the chat very much. Let me see if there's anybody talking to us out there. We got Charlie. We got.
Dude, Bobby
Cleet was asking about kill teams.
Big Cleet says 1 million of the minutes are him. Thanks, Big Cleet, dude. Appreciate you. Big Cleet shouted out on the Patreon page. He was asking about making an Adeptus Astartes kill team, so I hooked him up with some thoughts. James, actually, as a person who's never played Adeptus Astartes, that was the Black Templar list I put together for him with a few changes because now Death Denied is finalized. And remember, that was you couldn't use at Adepticon, the one where you just don't die.
That's great.
That wins games. I mean, just Death Denied alone is game winning.
Yeah, wonderful, bro. Sounds great.
But now a Terminator with a Thunderhammer Storm Shield being a combat specialist is also real kick-ass and does good work.
Yeah, 3 damage weapons are the truth when you're trying to kill models and kill team.
Yeah.
Like, not gonna lie, they hurt. I mean, someone mentioned, I think it was Cleet mentioned, like, warriors don't survive super well against it. He's right, they don't.
You know what survives really well against it? Necrons.
Yeah, that is totally true. You do not want to swing. That's the beauty of a command roster. That is the beauty of a command roster. This week's been crazy. The game store has been nuts. I've been pulling a couple shifts of the game stores, having to deal with Magic cards. I'm pricing models now.
Are you gonna start playing Magic now, George?
No, I'm not. I am having to be generally academic with it though, for the sake of the success of the store and doing my job as best to my ability. Definitely a strive for excellence kind of guy. So
makes sense.
Yep, I'm really. You know what I am excited about though, guys, is that I've been put into a position. I chose Friday nights. I'm doing Wednesday and Friday nights at Battlegrounds.
Oh, the Magic crowd, interesting.
So Wednesdays is the 40K night, and then Friday is the big Friday night Magic. And I've been really wanting to integrate Best Coast pairings into the Magic scene. it's not done very much, and that's why Event Suite was created, which we, due to our partnership with Best Coast, we have. And I really want to be a flagship store and be a exemplary tournament organizer using Best Coast pairing with Magic the Gathering. And Best Coast supports over 44 different game systems, and there's been like Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments and Dragon Ball tournaments. I've been throwing them into Best Coast, but Magic is like super official, and it's a very curated competitive scene, and points matter, and they got DCI numbers and shit, and you got to use this WER software, and the software is pretty clunky. It's very old school. It's not Best Coast pairing, and all the beauty of being wireless and pre-registration, looking at your pairings from your phones and all that shit. And just the way that the whole sign-up process and putting in the scores, it's very manual for the person behind the counter, and Best Coast pairing makes it very much automated by the player base, and it's much more runs on its own kind of thing. So on this Friday, I'll be I will mirror what we put into the WER software in Best Coast pairing, and I can literally manually recreate the same pairings and everything that it randomly decides, and I will get to export out the WER scoring so that you can submit it to the site per protocol. And as long as everything goes without a hitch, then I'll be ready to integrate it. I'll make a community video that'll teach our Magic the Gathering players how to use Best Coast and what it means to have it integrated and how the new sign-up process will work. It's gonna be awesome. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, automation's cool.
Yeah.
We live in
especially as far as tournament keeping.
Yeah, and I like just kind of pushing my, the more stress that I suffer when using Best Coast, which isn't much, but sometimes there's interesting things that happen, just kind of figuring out how to swap players around, what tables they're at, whatever. The better tournament organizer I become, because the app is super powerful, and the more that you're comfortable with it, the more comfortable you are while you're running your tournament.
Certainly.
So, all very exciting stuff. What do we got here? Thank you, guys. I think nice. Thank you, buddy, Bobby Halls.
Hey.
Yeah.
So one thing that's pretty cool that GW just released today is APOC. All the PDFs.
Oh shit.
All the rules, except
for
the main rule book, like all the unit rules, all got dropped today.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have every faction, including the Gellerpox.
Really?
Yeah.
Neat.
George just got excited.
Surely they can't be good in APOC somehow.
Oh, dude, I want to see someone with an APOC-sized army of just Gellerpox infected.
Oh my god!
My god!
You better
heresy.
You're gonna need the Chinaman. That's gonna need the Chinaman.
That's the Chinaman.
That's a massive order even for a Chinaman.
Yeah, it's like APOC level, dude. I'd love to 3D print a giant Gellerpox just for fun.
Oh, dude, but seriously, like, look at it. It was pretty neat. I have no idea what SAP means, like SAP. You get some SAP stuff.
That's against personnel. And the other ones are against vehicles.
Yeah, I haven't read any of it. But I thought it was just very interesting that they just dropped all those rules. I was like, whoa, GW, dropping stuff for free?
Just trying to give that hype out.
So it's something like the roll on that SAP or SAT is like what you need to roll to place blast markers on something, and like SAP does small blasts, and then for damage against like larger targets, it's something like 2 small blasts is equal to 1 large blast for the purposes of resolving damage. It's something strange like that because damage is all at the end of the phase and happens simultaneously.
Dude, I think it's 9th edition, bro. I think it's their test ground for 9th edition.
It could be. It could be.
Because a lot of people like that kill team style. I think it's more competitive, not as much feel badsies.
It is really cool. Apparently, this is there's a lot of epic in here as well, like Epic Armageddon, right? Or wasn't that a thing? And I guess like some of the, I thought
that's what Titanicus is epic, really.
I thought some of the rules were like a resurgence of some of those rule sets.
I didn't play Epic, so I couldn't tell you, but I'm aware that it existed.
Gotcha. I still want some Battlefleet Gothic, man. I would play the shit out of that. I want some fucking spaceships and play dogfights and shit.
Wow. I'll just play a drop pod in that game.
One really aggressive drop pod.
I don't know if that
Full of berserkers, bro. Full of berserkers.
So hey, another update that we have from last week is last week we were asking the questions to Nova about how the trios operate, and we've gotten a response back.
We got a halfway clear response.
Yeah, there's still some we could ask questions, and so I hate to be like, well, what about? Did you understand me clearly? Even though
you can't do that.
Do you remember though, Chris?
It doesn't say I can't do that.
Yeah. Dude, there was a year though that they told me I couldn't, and we thought they were wrong with reinforcement points and tactical reserves.
Oh, where Marty answered us during 7th edition or whatever it was.
Oh no, that cannot be. And I was like, "Are you sure?" And I had to come back with all these page numbers and screenshots. I was like, "I don't think that's right." And luckily, I was correct on that one because it was going to screw me. It would have meant that you couldn't summon past turn 3, is what it would have meant.
Yeah, I remember we went through that whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Which that's the one thing I wish I could master summoning a little bit better in the game. I just think there's so much strength in it. It's just I don't think I'm smart enough to figure it out. But summoning, you can summon turn 1, you can summon turn 4, 5, and 6. So it's man, just to keep a couple points in reserves can go a long way.
Yeah, it's powerful. Powerful. So yeah, you just made me remember. I was watching some tech last night, which I appreciated. It was the Team Battle Brothers. Which, speaking of, just giving a couple shout outs. I've been watching Team Battle Brothers talk shows and podcasts and things, and checking out the Next Run Gaming. They're some of our buddies from the local area that have been doing some content producing, and they've been doing some pretty content-rich stuff when it comes to just talking about tournament lists and tournament meta. I think we're pretty free-flowing on our conversations when it comes to that stuff. We love tournaments, competitive play, but try to talk about the game, the hobby, and tabletop wargaming.
Where do you find them at? I've yet to see any of their content.
They usually just post it on Facebook. They just then they have it'll be on YouTube. They just did a YouTube one. But I did not love the language of the recent one I watched on one of the shows there, where it had a lot to. It was pretty much there's these things in the meta now that are obvious, and they probably were obvious for a lot of people, but taking them in this most optimized combination when it becomes kind of immortalized through winning tournaments, especially by players that have consistently won in tournaments, then it becomes they're the ones that are the thought leaders in certain unit combinations.
Yeah, notoriety for a certain combination that they may not have necessarily come up with themselves. They're getting credit for.
Look at Matt Root at Adepticon with all the fly rints. Lots of people spam fly rints. He was the one that was up at Adepticon and was the general to do it. That was a crazy Adepticon. I'm just getting at some things are obvious.
It harkens a little bit back to the Malefic Lord spam, but a little different.
Totally. Dude, I totally thought that was my brainchild, and I know that I thought of it independently, and it became a thing that many people played. But there's so many people that have that same kind of story, and sometimes a lot of times it's bullshit. But just net listing and just I guess I have a weird. I just have a lot of pride and like to seek out my own journey, and I hate it when it gets tainted by it becomes just something that someone else has done, and there's no way you can do it without kind of copying. Is the way that it's perceived, and there's certain chunks of things that are obvious, and then when they become an entire list, it becomes no list. So there's the 7 flyers now, or the 9 flyers. Or there's the Custody bike list, or the Blood Angel and Guard and Knights list. Or, what do you think, Chris?
Speaking of the person you're talking about, there's been some obviously some also unfortunate hobby news with an army getting stolen from a major player.
That's true. Yeah, that was sad. I guess number 1 in ITC, Jim Vessel, got his army stolen at an airport.
That's really crappy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's from a hobby perspective, for people to invest that much in an army, it's just
Yeah. Especially he had a really cool converted army. I don't know why, but out of some of the top dog players, he rubs me right. I like that guy from how I've perceived him. But sometimes people really get a big head in the upper levels of tournaments, and it drives me crazy and makes me want to beat them in every way possible. And it's like I get this like fuck it. But like I learned some cool. They're like that was this one guy was talking about the whole like you use the 30 pink horrors, and like the 30 pink horrors are becoming something that I've ran horrors for a long time, but people are starting to use it as a default. Like you got your 60 plague bearers, you got your 30 pink horrors, you put 10 reinforcement points out there so that you can split one on a charge. And so, like I guess the tech is that you always deep strike your pinks. They're made to shoot and then charge something and get it all mucked up. And with the 4-up invulns being a 30 blob, and you can shorten your charge distance by taking some shots in Overwatch, splitting that unit. Yep, and putting in at your max 2-inch coherency, and effectively getting like a 6-inch charge, especially if you take like a instrument.
Nasty.
So they'll use that to kind of tie up the board. Then you use your plague bearers to score your objectives and be a big pain in the ass. And you use Thousand Suns Supreme Command to have your utility of spells. And he had this cool sauce where he was using Blightlord Terminators, and using those as his other point of offense. And he would never deep strike them. He would go up the middle and he would Cloud of Flies them all the way up the board. And they were always just a big bully that sat in the middle. That you come in my zone, I'm going to mess you up with these Terminators, and you can't interact with them until they get to you.
Terminators are an elite slot, so did he have 2 of the Foul Blight spawns to go with it?
Yes, he did. And that was the sauce right there.
Yeah, the Foul Blight spawns are so disgusting for the sheer fact that like it's a 2d6 strength flamer, and it's 9-inch flamer, not 8-inch flamer. Still can't get things from the deep strike, but yeah, it's assault, so they're always advancing forward and they're blasting people, but it's neg 3 AP, flat 3 damage
on a character.
On a character that's hides.
Yep. So like that right there, just taking a Death Guard with a Death Guard Demon Prince, a not a Poxbringer, but
and that Demon Prince with a separating plate is so disgusting because every time it makes a save, you're taking, or disgusting resilience, you're taking a mortal wound.
Yeah. And what's funny is
it's a 4-up disgusting, not a 5-up.
I really enjoyed the interview. Like the guy was super knowledgeable. He was very with it, but taking ownership of these unit combinations, his list is very good, and he has a solution and a reason. Half of it, they were defining on that episode about tech, and how tech is a type of unit or ability in your army that's there to deal with a certain problem in the meta, and your tech will change around based on the different types of ways the meta shifts, whether it's knights or flyers or this or that. So all cool stuff, but I have pretty much all those units and have ran them in lots of different combinations, and but I'm not gonna add in Blightlord Terminators and a Death Guard detachment and just start matching that guy, where other people will, and I find that interesting. Like Magic, I've learned is super that way too, where people are very much net listing because there's already been so much already kind of play tested and figured out by there's so many people that play it. It's just kind of interesting how much data we have at our disposal, but yet how underground our community still is and is growing.
Yeah.
So content's cool.
My favorite tech that I'm seeing all over the place on BCP is the Flawless Host Lord Discordance.
Yeah.
Like super crazy Disco Lord.
Everywhere. I noticed a lot of people are running 3 of those in particular, which I don't think that's the tech to go with. I think just the single Warlord one that becomes a blender is the best way to go, and then you have 2 other ones that take advantage of other legions. Like I really like running the Purge one because you can do stuff in the shooting phase, and because the Lord Discordant doesn't get any rerolls. It needs a Lord next to it, or you're going to have to use Demon Forge with it, and it's a CP extensive. And when you bring it with Purge, since it gets the Purge trait, you shoot some either Derderaderos, which are the best to use, or Contemptors are the second best, and you blast out of the unit. Then that Lord Discordant runs at the field, gets to reroll all its hits, and wreck stuff while you still have the Flawless one going. And then I like to bring a Red Corsairs one because it auto gets the advance and charge. So that becomes the scariest, moving the fastest, especially when you warp time that one. So it goes way up the board, so it keeps your flawless one alive, so it can continue advancing up and get into blender zone.
Yeah. Oh, you just
Those are my
me.
picks.
Yeah. There's you reminded me of I had a picture here of my buddy's list. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Yeah. Here. Yeah, so this is funny. Triple Noctilith crowns with a buttload of Marines and Cultists. We call it the trash meta. And I got to see it on the battlefield the other day, and it's really funny, and it's about how I think it's a Red Corsair's ability, but being able to kind of Tide of Traders your Space Marines, and how unlike the Cultists, you can do it every turn, or you can do it multiple times instead of just once per game.
So I like to compare that one to not just the Cultist, but the Boys version, because the Boys version is 3 CP, just like the Chaos Space Marine version.
Yeah.
But still, the Boys version is only once a game, where the Chaos Space Marines can do it multiple times.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, because like you can do it turn 1 for a total redeploy, like up in their face.
Oh, dude, I love it, especially because Red Corsairs, because you take 3 units of Chaos Space Marines, you're getting an extra 3 CP. So it gives you the CP off the bat to do it.
Yep. He definitely, like, he went against an all like shooting Marine army and took it down, and like it Nova missions, particularly with the way the scoring works and going progressive, you can really rack up points with bodies, and it's just hilarious because like if you like calculate what kind of like max amount of output that one particular, like one of their heaviest shooting units can do, you can like hide the right amount of guys behind a piece of terrain so that you kill all the ones in line of sight, auto pass, and make sure you get your investment. He was bringing back like almost 700 points worth of models for free in the game, I think he said.
So I think it would be great is if he had those crowns and took like heavy weapon platforms like Reaper cannons and stuff and parked them all next to those crowns. So he was shooting down the board and then having Space Marines run up the middle.
Sure, totally. But we're at the hour mark. We got a holler from Big Cleat here. He had one more question before we rolled. I thought we'd just answer this and jump out.
What's up with the Star Fox photo?
I just wanted to throw it up because it's funny. The Wolf and Star Fox. I need to be able to deal with some flyers with the Space Wolves. But Big Cleat wants to know, quick kill team question: did Tyranid Warriors worth it, or just spam Gaunts and Steelers? Well, if you're spamming Gaunts and Steelers, you're gonna want your Warriors for your Synapse, because that's what makes it so good.
I mean, I think you definitely don't need more than like 1 or 2 Warriors, because at a certain point, having the sheer numbers obviously gets you past the point where they don't have to take break test or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, those numbers are definitely useful. I think Tyranids are kind of more of a horde army than most other armies in Kill Team.
Yeah.
But simultaneously, George has more experience than I do with that. I know the advent of multi-damage weapons makes all of those things that are like Warriors or Lictors way less attractive.
I mean, a lot of GW games, whether it's Kill Team Sigmar or 40K, bodies win games,
Yep.
And the reason that the Tyranids are so spectacular is the ability to not have those bodies suffer from broken test and whatnot. So, yes, take some Warriors. Probably only a couple is really all you need.
Yep.
Yeah, and then it seems like the Warrior is the more efficient choice over a Lictor. I see people do that more often than not.
Lictors don't have
Synapse.
Oh,
I see. Yeah. But it's been a good time. I think we've had some cool conversations this episode. It was cool to have our friends like Bobby and Big Cleat jump in. And who else do we have? We had Charlie once again. Good to see Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, my good man. Who else we got up in there?
That's it, bro.
That was it.
It was a light episode.
Where the hell are you, Gordito? Chicken Bone? I haven't seen Ice Wolf in forever. I mean, granted, he's
Thank you for all our friends that are here, and the ones that aren't, we miss you.
Yeah, no doubt. Homies, hope to see you soon. We have a lot of content. We're going to be posting a Bat Rep every day, so I hope you enjoy, and I'd love to hear from you out there in the interwebs. What we say, guys, it's time to take fun seriously and all that, right?
Yeah, that's what we do. We keep it serious.
Yeah, take it fun.
Adios, young man.
Peace.